Let's talk about the movie that you're in, the Second-Hand Lions, in which you play. I mean, it's extraordinary casting. You play Texan.
Yes, yeah. I played an old Texan rancher. Yeah. The Americans have tremendous confidence in my ability to do accents.
Well, that's
I played American several times. Yeah,
Harry Sundown.
Harry Sundown. I did Cider House Rules. I did New England. This one was very straightforward with Texas. I'm doing a Southerner after that. And then after that, my next movie in America is Chicago. But I haven't the foggiest idea. When they said to me, like in Cider House Rules, he said, can you do an American accent? I said, yes. He said, my dialogue coach, he said, do it. And so I did my American accent. He said, that's California, Michael. You're supposed to be doing New England. And he said, I said, well, do New England. And he did New England, and it sounded exactly the same to me.
Yes.
So it was really quite weird.
Yes.
Quite weird.
And what was the trick to that? I mean, what was the key to you learning the New England?
New England is like Boston. You say, park the car in the car park. That's what that is. If you want to do Southern, you say four-door Ford all day.
Four-door Ford.
Yeah, four-door Ford. It's like that. Texan, I was learning... I learned the Texan accent, and I turn up in Texas, in Austin, in Texas. And I meet my dialogue coach for the first time. He'd recorded all my part in Texan. And he says to me, he said, do the Texan accent for me. So I did it for him. And obviously he wasn't very impressed. He said, you're doing Texas fine, he said. He said, but he said, you're doing it with an English accent, with an English phrasing. He said, English is like all soldiers standing to attention. He said, in Texan, everybody leans on each other. It goes like that. He said, the words just lean on each other and they go through, that's like that. And he said, it's all slow and you don't have to worry about nothing. And I said, well, Texans do talk slow, don't they, John? He said, they sure do, Michael. And I said, why is that? He said, well, I reckon, he says, because we're all very big and we carry a lot of guns. People just listen.
Lovely story. And it's a family movie. That's right.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. I don't do many pictures like that. I mean, this is a real picture you can take the whole family to see. It's a very, very nice picture, very warm, and I don't think I've done a film like that since the Muppets Christmas Carol I did. That was the last time. Yeah.
It's about the way that the interrelationships change your life. I mean, before we explore that, what about the other theme about getting older? I mean, you're 70 now.
Yeah.
You recently had a blue plaque on a wall in London where you were born.
Yeah, they put up, you know, they put blue plaques on where famous people were.
Yeah.
But what I didn't understand until I got there is the guy said to me, who was in charge of the Southwark Borough Council, he says, we're just lining up and waiting for the press, and he says, you do know, he said, you're supposed to be dead to do this. I said, well, how could I do it if I'm dead? He said, it's not what I meant. He said, they only put plaques up for dead people. He said, but we made an exception in your case. And he looked up and he said, but we left a space. He said, born 1933, hyphen, and there's a big space.
It set you thinking?
Yeah, it set me thinking. I wonder what date that's going to be.
You know,
that's a thing of growing old. But the great thing about growing old is you haven't got an alternative. The only alternative is death. So you might as well be cheerful and have the greatest possible life you can have. Because I always meet people who are living as though it's a rehearsal and the show's going to be later. And I feel like saying, this is the show. Yes. This is it. It's not a rehearsal.
Yes.
It's not it. You've got the costume on, look.
Yeah. I mean, are you older and wiser? Do the two go together?
No.
No?
No.
Thank God.
No. I knew I was supposed to be wiser, but it didn't happen for me.
And the other thing, too, about this...
Right, there is a thing about growing older, is that you've said everything you've got to say. You've heard everything that anyone's got to say, which is why you often find old people talking to themselves. They don't need anybody else.
That's a great theory.